know what Sony had? The Holy Trinity. Leo, Brad, and Margot. Who do you have?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boy Party, the podcast that tackles cinema's most legendary team-ups, films where two or more major stars share the screen. My name is Lucian Wadley, and I'm joined, as always, by the American they've sent over to keep an eye on the investigation. It's Shane Kelly.
Howdy, y'all.
And now, checking us into the G Hotel, it's Irish filmmaker. He knows about shooting a movie in Galway. Barra Convery is here.
I sure do. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Welcome, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here on Ireland's top film review podcast
Sure.
for films with two or more major stars in them.
Yes, thank you so much. You are Gen Z's answer to Martin and John Michael McDonagh, and we're delighted to have you here to talk about The Guard, Brendan Gleeson, Don Cheadle, but also we need to start off discussing the G Hotel, the aesthetic of this place, and the fact that this is the only film in which it's been immortalized.
And the fact that it allowed itself to be depicted in this film.
Yeah. It's an interesting ephemera of Galway, Tiger era.
Yeah.
shite.
Truly, like the amount of just classlessness that's in that place.
Yes.
Not in terms of the Marxist
No.
phrase. No, not
Just
at
tack.
all. Just
Golf
the
and tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even what comes to mind, one of the places, I haven't been there in years, but one of the rooms, I'm pretty sure the dining room, essentially, the entire very top of this very high ceiling
Yeah.
is just decorated, I think, with black and white photos of nude female bodies.
Oh, wonderful.
I
That
think
might
that's
explain the context of this film.
yeah, and I think it was something to do with the architect wanting to have orgies or having orgies there as
good
well.
grief.
Apparently.
So the first
Apparently.
thing about the G Hotel that's always struck me is that the logo is Garth Brooks's logo.
Yes.
It's this big lowercase G in a sort of, with kind of pink around it or whatever. It's very much similar to how Garth Brooks brands himself.
Yes.
Now, for those who don't know, the G Hotel is basically on a roundabout in Galway. It's kind of all first and second floor of a building
Yeah,
with a cinema attached to it.
It's in a shopping center,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah, it's been such an anomaly.
It's
but
in a shopping centre with a roundabout and the worst school in County
and
Galway
is it still
beside it.
5 stars?
It
Sorry,
is-
I was just need to
Yes,
say, this
that's
is
the thing.
this is one of the 2 5-star hotels in Galway.
This was for many years the best hotel in Galway.
Yeah, I think it probably still...
What's the other 5-star hotel?
Glenlow Abbey.
Glenlow.
yeah, it is
So it's
Glenlow
the only
Abbey, yeah.
5-star hotel in the city.
Yeah.
That's insane.
As far as I'm aware.
And this was the height of luxury, and anyone I knew who had a bit of cash to spend from
Yeah.
Dublin or whatnot would come to Galway to visit us, and they'd be like, I'm going to treat myself, I'm going to book into the G.
The G,
And
yeah.
the big thing was always that they would leave chocolates on your pillow when you arrived.
I mean, it's still essentially used by AIB bankers and all
Oh,
kinds
yeah.
to sort of
Yeah.
coming in around there as well, and it's and I mean, even kind of I've even known a couple of people who've worked there behind
Yeah.
the scenes, from anything from ranging to the accounts just to take service, and it is the scenes
Yeah.
their hotels all have a bit of reputation of notoriety
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
It
But
feels
this
like
is another level.
the only way it could be more Tiger is if there was a helicopter pad on the roof.
I was about
You
to
know
say...
what? I'm
there's
surprised
a-
it doesn't.
Weird there isn't.
There was a Mario Rosenstock, Gareth Brooks parody song.
Oh, yeah?
About taking helicopters to the Galway race. It was Friends in Low Places, but
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
lines was taking
Helicopters to the Galway
races,
races, yeah.
and that's the most G Hotel song.
Yeah. No, people think the G stands for Galway, but in fact it stands for Garth Brooks, and he
does,
owns the
yeah.
hotel.
Yeah,
Last
this is
thing-
also a building that's built almost entirely out of copper, which
Yes,
turns
and
green.
The
and
cinema has been wrecked and ravaged by flooding in the past year.
yeah, but nothing looks
Yeah.
like this anymore. They
And
stopped
closed,
building
and
things
closed.
like
closed.
this.
But it's reopening soon. They're hiring staff.
Cinema is very nice.
Cinema's
Oh,
very
is
nice.
it? I
They're-
didn't know.
Yeah, they're hiring new staff, so they must be coming open soon
that's good
enough.
news.
Why would the hotel now? I think you've answered it maybe with those photos of nude bodies. Why would they allow the only depiction of the hotel in this film, including the name of the hotel, is said
Yeah.
to be that a dodgy, corrupt cop is using it to bring prostitutes that he's brought down on the train from Dublin? This feels like not the most appealing way to have your business shown off in a big international film production.
Well, the second to that as well, it was also the main place where all the cast and crew were staying for
Yes.
the shooting of Banshees as well.
Which would make me think, were they also staying there when this was being shot?
I would imagine
I'd
so.
say probably, right?
More
So-
than likely.
Because
yeah.
that would explain why this was the hotel that they jumped to have Brendan go with the two ladies was the G. Because, yeah, James Flynn, and there was some producers involved in both Banshees and this, so I'd imagine they booked the same place. Yes, and Barry Keoghan infamously got into a fight outside the G Hotel during the filming of Banshees. That was sort of the beginning of the the beginning of the bad news that would surround that man.
Yeah, and I have word of mouth as well as also spread as to many
Other dodgy things, yes.
Well, the state of the room as well after, but for
go.
legal purposes, we
We'll
maybe
stop there.
won't go any
So
further.
the G
than that.
Hotel, an absolute den of debauchery in Galway, and I think that this film does a good job of exposing Galway.
But it does. But
seedy
it's
underbelly.
I'm pretty sure when Brendan is walking down Shop Street, which is the wrong direction, with the two prostitutes,
towards
he's like,
Sanchez.
"Oh, I'm taking you to the G," and they go, "Oh, that's fancy."
Yeah, exactly.
As if
Yeah.
the G is a
Nationwide reputation.
nationwide. Yeah.
Yeah. You can maybe open the entire premise regarding the guard as well can be like summarized in its use of the G as well. You know,
Yes,
we can do
exactly.
our full cultural lens.
I think so.
But I
Understand,
think
through a
it's-
hotel that I feel like I can only affiliate now with being like if Epstein was staying in Galway,
Yes,
he
he'd
would
stay
stay
in
in
the
the
G.
G hotel.
I think it probably
you know?
is a reflection of the management in the G that they probably thought this was gas and this is who we want to attract to our hotel.
Yeah, they'd be more than happy to have these kinds of people staying.
Because these kind of people have lots of cash on them, and
yeah.
yeah.
They use the G later on then for a meeting scene where I was like, that's the G, but it's not actually supposed to be the G. I think it's just meant to be
It's
like
just
an office.
undefined
by the way,
location
yeah.
where they meet Mr. McBride's widow, I guess.
Yes. So The Guard came out in 2011, and it is, I believe, still the highest grossing independent Irish film of all time in Ireland, which is amazing. And it was a big summer hit in 2011. I feel like everybody in the country was talking about how great it was. And it was like, sorry, is your time on your phone still in Sanskrit, Shane?
Yeah.
Show us there. He just held up his phone and the fucking clock is in Sanskrit.
Why is the time in?
I don't know. I just changed the setting one day and I didn't
So you
change
have
it back.
no idea what time it is at any time.
I'm learning the numbers.
This would explain why you're late to everything.
Yeah, the 4 looks like a 3.
Right, okay.
Or
I feel like
the other
Mancon
round.
Magan would have a few words to say about that. But
Yeah,
we'll-
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that the role in The Guard is debatably now Brendan Gleeson's most defining performance for Irish audiences, and then internationally is probably more so like the Harry Potter stuff. But I would say that to an average Irish person, if they think, "What's your favorite Brendan Gleeson performance?" I think most people would say The Guard.
Fair. I think there's because Brendan Gleeson has such a like span of a career going
Yes.
across so many generations. I feel like you could ask. It would really depend, but I do know what you mean. It
There
does
might be
feel
they're
like the
brave,
most,
they're Braveheart dads, I guess.
the very most middle, like the
yeah.
most middle thing that Brendan Gleeson
Yeah.
has ever done, and it has been.
It's like
The
a,
Guard.
I
lets
feel like
him-
for anyone our age or younger, it probably is Harry Potter.
Maybe, but if someone was not, if someone was trying not to say Harry Potter, which would
No,
be
yeah,
a
like
reasonable
I-
person's attitude, like I think this lets him unleash his whole bag of tricks.
It does,
Something
and what
for
you have
everyone in
backing
this.
you up there is the financial numbers,
Yes.
which suggests that everyone in the country has seen this film.
I think the idea of like Brendan Gleeson,
That's probably true,
Brendan
though,
Gleeson,
yeah.
he's playing a guard. I think that's like enough to get every single Irish person out to the
Sure.
cinema. Is The Guard a really bad title? I think it is a bad name. It's really lazy, but also means nothing outside of Ireland. It'd be like a Belfast police film called like The Peeler. Like it's too colloquial.
I feel like
Guards.
no, but I'll push back. I think it is just the perfect title in that regard because the connotations to everyone outside of it, like a guard is sort of a to being the
protector.
guard, is kind of like the protecting,
yeah.
sort of conservative role that in that kind of
Yeah.
way.
yeah, I never thought to interpret the word as if it outside of an
Yeah,
Irish
because
context.
like guard is a slang for Garda Síochána.
Yeah.
Like they're not actually called the guards. Like that
No.
is a slang term.
it's an anglicized thing.
Now, if you asked me to come up with a title on the spot, I would probably call this Bad Guard or Bad Garda.
Oh,
like.
just that, but that's so like 6 years earlier,
Yeah, the
2005.
bad
No,
spoof,
Naughty Guard.
you know.
Naughty Guard,
Yeah,
dirty
this is.
Guard.
Oh yeah,
Naughty policeman.
we're getting into a whole other. Well, that's just an yeah.
It would have been funny if they released this in America as the police officer, like
yeah.
the cop. But it's an Irish film. It's kind of an Irish filmmaker, although McDonagh's speak with thick English accents, so we can debate that one. But it is a film that co-stars beloved American movie star Don Cheadle in a very kind of random bit of, American actor comes to Ireland and makes a movie, which I think is a great success in this case.
definitely a bingo card, sort of ticking off
And
moment for most actors.
I think having him in this film gives it a way bigger sense of gravitas and like this is a legitimate movie. Now it has American and British distribution, and as a result, it's remembered very fondly. It got a BAFTA screenplay nomination, and I think it exists very much, and I think is probably one of the most beloved Irish films.
And Don
ever.
Cheadle is good casting
he's
here that they
very
didn't
good
just
casting.
cast a straight up comedy actor.
Yes,
because you
exactly.
kind of described him as an incredibly respectable aura. I think you even met a Sydney
trustworthy.
Poitier
Yeah, Sidney
comparison
Poitier,
yesterday.
exactly. He's very trustworthy, and
Yeah.
I think he represents the good side of American institutions. Of like, here's an honorable African American leader who you can trust and listen to, and like, I don't think having like, insert whatever Tracy Morgan or Martin Lawrence or like a Black American comedy actor in this role, I think would have a lot less of a fun bristling with Brendan Gleeson.
But it's peak Obama, really, isn't it?
It
like
is,
it
you're
is,
right,
and it was made quite very much during the era as well. But it is like the
You're right.
peak Obama.
Irish people were obsessed with Obama.
Yeah,
and
we
the
did.
idea of a Black American coming over and telling us what to do.
We were
fetishizing that.
We were
idea.
very close to the Don Cheadle filling station in Inverne. Like,
Yes.
we nearly had it.
No, I think Irish people were like really into the idea of a guy like this coming over and bossing us
And I
around.
think
Still
the
plays a-
success of this film is that it is defined by its contrast between the seriousness of the English and the Americans compared to just the lack of seriousness of the Irish people in this,
Yes.
which is lacking in the other McDonagh
yes
films,
So
which kinda-
where are you at on Calvary, Barra? We watched this. the other night.
Calvary. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while.
My reaction to Calvary.
I would be. I'm not sure. I think. I remember when I watched it at the time. God, at least 10 years ago now. I'd say. I think I remember it did kind of like a lot of people of our age back then. We watched it being like, oh yeah, it's a very like striking, confrontational, in those kind of ways film, and it definitely pushes the boat a bit more than anything that happens in the Guard, so to speak. It's I'm not sure. It's the sort of thing when I was coming into watching the Guard, the same question would be when I go to watch Calvary. Is like, how well has this aged?
Yeah.
And well, to my surprise, I feel like the Guard, apart from like one or two moments and one or two actual like sort of not quite cultural developments, but clear signs that like the McDonaghs are not
Yes.
from, they're not from the locality. They are Irish, but they are not from the locality.
Yeah.
But also then just kind of the representation kind of following of that as well.
I think the stuff that's un-PC in the Guard works really well because he's meant to be
laughed at.
He's meant to be laughed at. Like, it's like, yeah, there are asshole guys like this everywhere in Ireland, and we can laugh at them. They're not going to change.
And as all being Galway men as well, I think the only thing that really I'm kind of, and not quite irks me, but it's like it doesn't play as funny as well when it's like, oh, I thought the only black lads were drug dealers. Like,
Yeah.
But that's because it's like, man, I've known how many drug dealers have we known over the years around Galway?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's kind of like, surely at this age, like they
Exactly.
was flying.
Like the
through at
only
this
the only
point,
pure
you know?
character in the Guard is the Eastern European wife of the dead policeman.
Yes,
and like
true.
I think that's
It's a
probably a
good
fair
point.
reflection of
Yeah.
people in Galway. You're like,
Yes, exactly.
these are the kindest, most
But, like,
sincere people.
there seems to be a thing in the McDonagh's work around like race and like non-white people that does kind of rub me the wrong way, where there's one black guy in Calvary and he's like, well, there's a doctor in this, and I feel like he's only a Nigerian doctor so that Brendan Gleeson can like have fun saying his name to Fionnuala Flanagan later in the film. It's not really played for laughs, but I just found it to be a real.
I didn't find that too bad because I think that is a very common thing to have.
It just struck me as something
Working
that, like,
in kind of
kids in
rural
Galway
areas.
would have found funny in the 2000s.
I didn't even pick up on it really.
And then
but
in Calvary, there's one black character, and it's immediately remarked upon.
Yeah.
And then in
that he's beating a woman.
yes, and then in Three Billboards, which is obviously Martin McDonagh, but in Three Billboards there is a lot of dodgy stuff about race in that, where the Sam Rockwell character is like a horrible racist, is assaulting black people constantly, and is ultimately kind of the hero of that film. So I think that these guys are like coming at this from this real obviously there want to be post Tarantino thing of like certain things that they're not PC about are very clever and witty and funny, and then some are just like, you are really annoying Gen X white Englishmen.
yeah, there is. I kind of know what you mean, because it does feel like a lot of that filmography regarding race relations. Now you can kind of build into an element of it's like, oh, was it kind of in related to their own experience of like an Irishness identity growing up
perhaps.
in England at that time? But I don't. I guess cumulatively, like it doesn't resolve in any of their works.
No, I know.
It's just always kind of sort of jabbed at and referenced to, but like considering that the most recent thing either of them made was Banshees, which is just kind of a sort of going the opposite direction.
the whitest movie ever made.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then Martin's new movie coming out later this year is set on Easter Island, and is
Wait, what?
Yeah, Wild Horse 9. It's Rockwell. It's Malkovich. Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
It sounds promising, but it's
First time a film has ever been shot in Easter Island.
correct.
Yeah.
And I
And
wonder.
it's a Martin McDonagh film.
Yeah, so interested.
They
to
said-
see-
they
Can't
saw
get away
the-
from the islands.
Yeah.
I saw how
Hey.
well he treated the Aran Islands, and he was like, all right,
the
we can
cripple
trust
of
this guy with an
Easter
island.
Island. Yeah, it's funny. He's literally obsessed with islands. Like,
That'll be interesting.
yeah.
But I do feel What am I thinking?
I wonder how that'll deal with multiculturalism. Is my question. Sure.
Yeah, well, clearly not a huge amount of who was the cast again. John Malkovich,
Buscemi and Rockwell. But there's a couple other people in it that I haven't heard of who might not be white.
Yeah, I think the issue with Calvary is that the kind of references to minorities is played straight for laughs and not for this guy is stupid for saying.
Yeah, oh no, the problem with Calvary is that the main Brendan Gleeson character is meant to be this like wonderful, heroic guy.
The moral center of the story.
Yeah, but then also you've got scenes in that movie where someone will be... Brendan Gleeson's character in that film is meant to be like really heroic, and like it has that problem. Same as the scene in Three Billboards where Frances McDormand is like, all priests are terrible, you're all complicit. It's just like they're just filtering their political opinions through this character.
Yeah.
He's like an Aaron Sorkin character. He's the most perfect guy in the world. So you never get to laugh at him. You only get to laugh at all the people around him. And I think Calvary is like a really childish, puerile version of it.
He also ultimately doesn't take a stance on anyone's behalf.
No, he doesn't. But it's like wagging its finger at the Catholic Church, like, now, stop this. And it's very immature in how it deals with that, I think.
I will make an outside comment saying it's amusing how it's funny how we've started talking about the Guard and already kind of gone on a side quest towards Calvary. It does make sense, though. Well. It does make sense because the two,
as a unit,
they exist very much within the same cultural zeitgeist
and it's really
of that period of Irish films.
To make a really good comedy with and then to immediately be like, what if we all get together again and make like a really serious drama? And it's like, oh my god, could you not have just made another silly Guard movie?
Yeah, because watching Calvary is the best counter to watching The Guard because it loses what makes The Guard good.
Yeah, it'd be like if you got any great. It's like if the people who made Bridesmaids had immediately gone and made like a really dark drama with a murder and a suicide and all this stuff. You'd be like, oh, could you not have just done more silly stuff? Like, I don't know. It feels as if we missed out on getting more funny Guard antics.
I don't know. It does feel like two sides of the same coin, though, as well, though. Like, very much so.
It is. It's questioning Irish institutions. This one is about the police, and that's about the church.
Yeah. But it's less so It's less so criticizing from the outside, I suppose. It's I guess it's kind of trying to straddle that line, which I think in the same way also reflects the kind of cultural and racial relations that are depicted in the film.
Yeah.
In that it's kind of using the Irish card in a way to an advantage to make a commentary that people otherwise couldn't.
Yes.
Maybe.
It's also very clever in that the most famous actor in the movie is the black character. So he kind of comes in at a head start to everybody else. So making cracks about Irish people's response to a black person, which is, still in 2011, maybe slightly more of a foreign concept to a lot of rural Ireland. I think Don Cheadle having so much star power at least reduces the imbalance there of that gag,
Sure. Yeah. I think what maybe even more worth noting is that the way, maybe even kind of our cinematic culture, or even just like and whatnot, or even just culturally anyways, we've evolved through these films, or like off these films in the past 10, 15 years. Because it's a very short time span, so to speak, since these films have come out, like comparatively.
Yeah.
But like the way the Guard still holds that legacy now as being so definingly 2011 and like the 2010s.
Yeah.
Even just from everything changing from like, well, the uniform actually being a big one. It's kind of the first thing you'd note now as well of like, oh, the uniform that the Guards use now is just the more sort of EU kind of high-vis standard.
People people in 2011 were more willing to laugh about the Guards being racist. Now that's a real political issue because of the killing of Georgichenko and various other things. That like the idea that a significant proportion of our police have real issues with minorities has become like a major left-wing kind of post-woke culture talking point. Whereas in 2011, everyone was just kind of laughing that off as like, well, there aren't enough cases of it to take it seriously, and now there obviously is. So, but having
like 10, 15 years of just austerity as well. It's just really the efficacy that the Guard functions with. I think maybe arguably compared to like previously is questionable.
Yeah,
like the way in which community policing used to work, which was kind of like the premise of the Gardaí and whatnot. Yes. And that's certainly the model that like the film The Guard is based on.
Yes, like
there's very little of that left. Like I know there's for a fact, even where we're kind of from, or like just the area that this film is set.
Yeah.
Like there was one Garda for the entire Spiddle, like Carrow,
right.
Oughterard, my Cullen area.
Yeah. No, I think you need probably an armed task force to keep an eye on Oughterard at the moment. the IRB. The IRB come back.
The last note on Calvary is just that if they wanted to go and make their Catholic Church film after The Guard, if you tried to make a Catholic Church film with the tone of The Guard, you're just making Father Ted.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they felt they had to go in the opposite direction.
That's a
that
fair
was
point as
already
well.
done. The silly piss take had already been done. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously do pull certain elements of Father Ted into
They
it.
absolutely do. Sure, the poster for The Guard says, like an encounter between Father Ted and Bad Lieutenant. Great.
What was Bad Lieutenant even? I can't even.
It's like there's a Herzog movie with Harvey Keitel that's about like a real drug addict.
It's a great pull for a poster.
drug addicty cop, and then there's a remake with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which is made. Which is sorry, no. Herzog did the remake. I can't remember who did the original. Maybe I don't know. I'll come up with it. Shane, what's the plot of The Guard? Run us
Plot
through it quickly.
of The Guard is Brendan Gleeson works as a guard out in Connemara, out in West Galway. Allegedly, there are shipments of drugs coming into Rossaville, all the way from South America.
The original Bad Lieutenant was directed by Marty Supreme star Abel Ferrara. Yeah,
Oh, wonderful.
Continue.
Oh.
Yeah, drugs are being shipped into the west of Ireland.
Yes, it's a bit of a young offenders-y premise as well.
Yes,
There's
and
drugs on the coast.
Don Cheadle is recruited over as a drugs hotshot policeman to set up a task force to basically try and catch these guys. There's Liam Cunningham and David Wilmot and Mark Strong are the
bad boys.
The bad boys on the Irish side who are receiving the shipment coming in from wherever. I don't know, South America somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just run into various characters around the town of West of Ireland. People start going missing. The Gardaí are corrupt. They're getting paid off by the bad guys. And ultimately, Brendan Gleeson has very little to live for, apart from his sick mother. And he's kind of just not willing to take the corruption money because there's no need for it, really.
Yeah.
And he kind of builds a tense relationship with Don Cheadle too. And they end up teaming up to stop the drugs.
Yeah.
He's a bit of
a fight for morality in a sort of decaying institution.
Yeah,
kind
and
of story.
all his bluster and all his swearing and his insults are kind of a front for an actually quite heroic, self-sacrificial character that he has there.
Yeah, but like ultimately he's not anti-drug because he takes drugs himself.
Yes.
I don't think he's for the law in any
No,
particular
he's not.
way.
He doesn't want
fond
American
of his,
law to
he's
succeed.
fond of his prostitutes and his drugs and his.
So what is his motivation?
I suppose this is maybe where we kind of come into that. What makes this kind of an Irish film more than anything else?
Yeah.
To me, when I'm kind of thinking of a lot of other police-related films, like
Yes.
like very high, like even kind of good ones, like I'd say a Hot Fuzz comes to mind.
Yes,
for example.
yes.
But most other films, when kind of portraying these kind of figures, usually use the literal evidence of having one character embodying the idea of like the competence, efficient, and the other kind of the sort of inadequate, sort of
You could almost say
incompetent
good
community.
cop, bad cop.
You could almost say good cop with varieties on the bad cop flavor.
Yes, exactly.
Whilst when I do think about it, the manner in which the Guard is portrayed as kind of like this very kind of like small character in a small world, but is actually not a big character. He's not a big personality where it's like he should be anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I found it kind of interesting of being like, oh yeah, this sort of exists as there's a duality in the character here that you could say is very much kind of like has this very Irish tone, I guess.
Yeah. No, true.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of this type of character in like American war films where like this rural guy just kind of has nothing else going on, and the only way he can find a bit of
This big
meaning
Gran
is
Torino,
to-
like.
the only bit of meaning he can find is to kind of fight for something that he doesn't really believe in.
Well, it's that tone of very like self-satirical kind of it's the self-awareness of the character. I think that's what really strikes.
Yes.
It kind of translates again, not to bring Calvary back into it, but like the self-awareness of like Brendan Gleeson's character in The Garden, by extension in Calvary, is really palpable.
Yeah.
You know, despite all his kind of faults and failings, it's something that he is very aware of.
Yeah.
In that regard. So that's something I actually feel is I think I realized, that was one of the things that was actually keeping me engaged throughout the film. It's the fact that I am watching a character who is doing some, not great things consistently, but he is quite aware of what he's doing and why he's doing.
Like Brendan Gleeson has a pretty unique quality as a lead actor of being incredibly warm and likable even when he's doing the worst possible things, and I don't think the film would function well at all.
No,
without him.
there's a more comedic way to look at the Guard, and that his entire motivation is that he's just completely pissed off that he actually has to do his job.
True.
So he just gets really angry and starts shooting drug dealers. Cause How fucking dare you
leave
make
me alone?
do a bit of
like,
police work? Like.
Yeah, I want to just enjoy my day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little facetious though at the end with the whole Don Cheadle interactions and
Yeah.
It's I suppose that it was particularly when like watching kind of a film as Irish as this. I'm always more interested in what other people read on it like particularly when watching the film from outside, so like Americans and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they sort of they're always the one who are kind of digging up the the moral themes and complexity.
Yeah.
Well, to me, when I'm watching the film, it's like I really don't think this is a very complex film at all. I think that's the point. Like it's just. It's quite you could argue it's a very accurate representation of the way things were and actually still are.
Yeah.
No, there's an enormous population of people in Ireland who just kind of do things because without any real explanation.
Yeah.
They just have they identify a sense of duty out of kind of nowhere, and they just get along with it in a very kind of stoic sort of way. And
Yeah, that's how the civil service operates, I guess.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just loneliness.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, the distinction in this between the stuff I like and the stuff I don't like. I like all the stuff where he's being a gobshite. Like, I love all of his just blustering and whatever.
Yeah.
What I hate is the what I'm going to describe as the like Tarantino wank, which is the bad guys arguing about fucking Dostoevsky or Nietzsche or all that shit. That shit is so annoying. And like only this generation of guys who grew up watching 80s, 90s, comedy, action stuff would think that that's entertaining dialogue for the audience. Nobody at home wants to see your villains like intellectualized for no purpose whatsoever. I think that stuff's really annoying.
Is it better than not having them say Anthem?
Is it better than having them say generic?
I think
bad
it's
guy
in the
dialogue?
same. I think it's in the same vein. Like it is very McDonagh coded as well.
Yeah.
To be fair. And so it's very much like, oh, it's been done. You can't really do it again. It's like it's that element of like trying to push away slightly from very typical depictions. Now you could say there's a lot of like class. Like, there could be elements of class from that. Now you don't really get the impression that like Liam Cunningham and Mark Strong's characters are coming from like underprivileged backgrounds either.
Yeah,
but this is probably one of the first times even people watching the film maybe even heard who Dostoevsky was. So the fact that they're establishing the villains as also having this inverse side of like the whole like mob code or that kind of
I think the problem with this, and also with kind of the what you'd consider the non-PC stuff in Calvary, is that they don't, and the intellectual stuff in this is they don't do anything with it. It is a button they press to insert reference.
Yes.
Insert name of minority group, insert name of classic literature.
Putting a Dostoevsky reference in The Guard when you know
and Nietzsche.
And Nietzsche, when the people watching it are going to be like the average Irish person, is a bit like putting a reference to fucking Basic Instinct in Shark Tale or something. It's like there's a cheeky one for those of you who get the joke, and it's like, I don't know, pitch your thing at its audience, not above your audience's heads. It's just patronizing.
And then one of the main quotes as well is also used then as one of Nietzsche's main jibes at religion as well, which is, I guess, consistent for the McDonagh cinematic world.
Like if they're maybe they're building in some themes of this great historical literature into the plot of the film.
Yeah,
but like,
you could. There is a connection there, definitely. Like, but it's
you can
like,
do it without.
In terms of,
it works perfectly fine without that stuff. Like,
like you could say there's an element that like a lot of like the legacy of Irish writers in terms of like classic works, and then also by extension theater, which is where their sensibility comes from, is very affiliated with I suppose like with a lot of the Russian writers as well, of having like a core era. So it could be a slight reference to that. I didn't feel the film was any worse off for it, but it definitely was the most like, how do you know like this is a McDonagh film?
It reminds me
it
that
immediately reveals itself.
Like, this is kind of the only McDonagh film I like by either of them, and I think that, I mean, In Bruges is fine. I don't love it. I think that as soon as this stuff starts, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot why I didn't like these guys. Like, oh, get over yourself.
Oh, for God's sake.
Anyway, Brendan Gleeson career retrospective time. Brendan Gleeson is just turned 70 last year.
Happy birthday to the big man.
Happy birthday. If Brendan Gleeson ran for president of Ireland, I think he'd probably win. I think everybody likes Brendan Gleeson.
It's good. He's had several like angry live public TV moments, including against our current
giving out about Micheál
Taoiseach
Martin,
as well,
and he seems
which he's
to
kind
be,
of redacted a little bit on, but he's gone there, which is what's respected.
He's not so radical in that way that he turns people off. I think the average middle Irish person loves and respects Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah.
And he's got great English teacher energy. He's got because he was an English teacher out in somewhere in North Dublin, and he's got a real like kind English teacher who'll come over to you and be like, I thought your essay was very good, you know. And I'm like,
he doesn't come across as a man who would have the patience to go into politics.
Oh, I'm sure not. But I'm just in terms of his like public scoring.
Yeah.
Is very
I mean,
high.
that is literally what the presidential role is for. I mean,
Yeah.
who was it? Maybe it was one of you
patient.
reshared the tweet on on like how the presidential role is essentially the best political office for a Galwegian.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Essentially being vaguely
Yes.
artsy, make a lot of social protests, and then
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. It's
curry favor.
Yeah, Galway is the breeding ground for
Cavan is number 2 apparently. So
What?
Cavan is number 2 apparently.
Cavan number 2. No, Cavan is a breeding ground for big old losers. His first film credit is
How many islands you want?
yeah. His first film credit is The Field, and we noted the exact same is true for his contemporary David Wilmot, who's one of the bad guys in this film. Who we love. Pops up in the Snapper, and Braveheart, I'd say, is where most international audiences see him first, because he's got a very good big red beard and red hair, and he's very distinctive as like a warrior type. And he has roles in Michael Collins and The Butcher Boy, and then he's one of the leads of I Went Down, and then John Boorman cast him as Martin Cahill in 1998 in The General, which I watched last week, which is a pretty good Dublin gangland crime movie. It's in black and white, which makes it incredibly hard to identify any Dublin locations. I've realized you cannot identify Dublin
From the late
streets
90s.
in black and white
Interesting.
in the
Okay.
late 90s. But it's him, and he's playing like this like cheeky bastard gangster who is a likable rogue, but also in real life was like a horrible piece of shit.
Yeah.
But he's riding his motorbike up to the forecourts and kind of laughing in the guards'
I really need
faces.
to reacquaint myself with a lot of the late 90s Irish cinema.
There's
'cause
some
they're,
good stuff
they're
in there.
very but they're also like,
Yeah.
to be honest, most of it has aged, I'd say, like in a quiet way, in a way where it's like it was still a very, very limited means at the time.
Yes.
But the energy and like passion.
The
was
energy
there.
and passion was much greater than it is now. I would
Yeah,
say.
and it's like, so I need to, and particularly a lot of those films I need to sort of,
yeah.
yeah.
The General, though, is Boorman, so it's like English director who had a lot of success and then made Ireland his home, basically, and like,
Okay.
gives a lot of these guys opportunities, which is good. There's a movie with Brendan Gleeson that I'd love to see called Sweetie Barrett, which has an insane poster.
I'm looking at it over
Revenge
here. What
is
the hell?
Sweetie Barrett. I know people who've seen it. I haven't. And then the kind of the most exciting Hollywood film of the 90s to 2000 era on here is he's in Mission Impossible 2.
He is.
And what does he
is.
do in that?
He's the villain.
He's the villain in Mission Impossible 2.
He is one of the.
He's one of the bad guys. Is
Yeah.
Mr. Man is the main villain in it.
Dougray Scott.
Dougray Scott.
Brendan Gleeson is the CEO of the pharmaceutical company that is making whatever thing they're
Right.
scared of. The Chimera. It's called the Chimera.
Okay, that's a cool role for him to get, because like
It is,
it's
yeah.
all been Irish films the years leading up to
Yeah,
that.
he's a big scary businessman who's like at the horse racing and stuff.
Fascinating.
And, like, I don't know.
2001, Cockamish comes out.
Oh, Jesus.
Chef kiss.
I think this contributes as well to Brendan Gleeson's notoriety in this country, is that every single child in the country has Brendan Gleeson like pumped into their veins in school through Cockamish. For those who don't know, this is a short film in Irish where Brendan Gleeson plays a blind man on a train who is poisoned by poisonous chocolate cake. That's it.
Well, it's not a chocolate cake. No, it's a pink cake. It's
it's
very
not
important.
chocolate cake.
I can
it's
remember
pink.
it
Oh,
as
it's
the day
like
I was first.
strawberry cake.
It's like a strawberry
Oh, he
cake.
has an allergic reaction and the woman doesn't give him his inhaler.
Yeah.
No, he just starts choking because
Oh, he
she
starts
says
choking.
she says, "Oh, there's a worm in your cake."
Oh,
and
yeah,
then he
yes.
starts
Lies.
choking and is asthmatic as well as blind. So
I
then-
think Cockamish is like something that someone had a dream about, and then they felt they had to, because it doesn't. None of the different elements of it actually make sense. So you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, someone came up with that in a dream and was like, that'd be funny to make that.
I still wake up in raging fits thinking about the injustice of that, of what that woman did to that poor man. You know,
Now it's just like Lad Bible core, like, aha, Cockamish is back. And when the fucking Brendan Gleeson was at the IFTAs 2 years ago, multiple journalists asked him,
Oh, really?
when are we getting Cockamish 2? And I was rolling my eyes back in my head.
okay, that's
Grow
getting a
up,
bit
like,
much. That's getting a bit
Can
much.
you call those journalists or are they just
look, some of them are
Website
like, some
people.
of them are friends of the show, so I'm not gonna be too rude.
we'll delete that. So.
Sorry, Charlotte Bradley, the actress in Cockamish, she's actually got a bit of a career. Like, she was in Freywaka and stuff, so she's working. I don't know her to see, but she's in a bunch of stuff. Post Cockamish, he's in AI as Lord Johnson, which he's like, I think he's like a kind of a circus ringleader type character. He's good fun.
Yeah.
28 days later, he plays Frank.
He's quite good in that.
Yeah, he's just hanging out up on the roof and stuff.
No, he's part of the Killian Murphy's posse for a while. and-
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I can't see.
the reluctant recluse kind of.
I can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
him
They
because
go around as a gang. For a
watching
little
that film
while
is
and-
like peeping through a fucking curtain that you can't see anything through.
I watched it on an airplane, which is even better.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So you got the sound of an airplane, you got the screen of an airplane, and then also like fucking, was it 240p?
The only way
shot.
28 Days Later would look good is if you watch it on like a shitty digital camera, like screen like that. You're like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good.
It was a flip book. Like,
Worst looking film ever.
It's good fun.
Gangs of New York. I can't really remember what he does in that, but like everyone is in that. And
Gangs of New York, he plays what's his name? He plays one of like the right hand man to Liam Neeson's character.
to
the father,
and then he's at the start.
Yeah, it feels very similar to the role in Braveheart. And
Yeah.
He plays a Democrat. He becomes elected and then gets murdered again.
Oh, you're right. He does.
Yeah,
he does.
yeah.
Very good. Cold Mountain, Troy. There's a pattern here. Kingdom of Heaven. He's getting put in things where he can play like old timey warrior man.
Yeah.
I don't remember him in The Village. I guess he's one of the town elders. There's a lot of people in the village who just kind of live in the town. Breakfast on Pluto. He is dressed up as a Womble in Hyde Park. Killian shows up to Hyde Park, and there's like a tent or a little hut, and Brendan Gleeson comes out in like a Womble costume.
Yeah. Oh, I think he takes the mask off or the head off.
Yeah, we didn't know who it was going to be. And we were like, what? It's a Womble reveal.
Womble.
So it's just the Frank twist done
Yes.
years before Frank as well.
Exactly.
Sure.
Okay.
Then you got Harry Potter comes after that, which like he's excellent in those, really good. And like what he shows up in the fourth one, you find out at the end that Mad Eye is in fact David Tennant pretending to be Mad Eye, and the real Mad Eye has been in a basement the whole time.
Tangent.
Yes,
I always hated that.
you hated the twist.
I hated that twist because it just undermined. Because I think mostly because in all the following films,
yes. They act like they have a great bond, but in fact they never met
they've
before.
never
met.
Exactly. It's
I
one
know.
of the many reasons I think Goblet of Fire is the worst Harry Potter film.
Oh, I disagree, but I hear you, but I don't
so
agree.
they continue on as if all
yes,
the
as
sincere...
if they've been hanging out.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no other key scenes in the following films involving Mad Eye to the same extent that he was in the.
They don't reintroduce
Goblet of
themselves.
Like
Yeah.
Harry meets Mad Eye for the first time, I think at the very end of Goblet of Fire, and he's like, I was in a basement the whole time. Thanks for helping me get out. And then movie 5 starts, Mad Eye rocks up to his house and is like, my dear friend, my protege, Harry Potter, how you and I love each other. And
They
it's
must
like,
have
you
went for
guys-
pints after the tournament. Like,
Maybe.
or
It's
something.
like, you guys have met once. You were hanging out with David Tennant the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like even the most basic writing involvement would be like, okay, but when does he take over? You know, is he there the whole
Exactly.
time?
Mad Eye should be the one who comes to the school at the start, and then halfway through, your man should swap out. But you know it's David Tennant from the very start, because the second Mad Eye's introduced, he's swigging out of his potion bottle.
Yeah.
Silly. But he's
maybe we can even cite Goblet of Fire being the beginning of the end for She Who Must Not Be Named as well. Like,
Maybe.
You know?
How does Mad Eye get killed? He just falls off his broom in number 7 when they're flying to safety, right?
Yeah.
He gets not killed by one of the
sort of does a
bad
last
lads.
stand thing and gets shot off.
Yeah. Him and the owl, I think, are killed in the same breath, and then you kind of forget about Brendan Gleeson because the owl is a bit of a bigger deal. Killing the owl is just like, that's bad storytelling. Like, why does the animal need to suffer? Anyway, there's a movie called Studs that myself and Pierce watched last week, where Brendan Gleeson and David Wilmot are in a Dublin
Sunday league,
amateur
like,
soccer team in
yeah.
Lucan. Brendan Gleeson shows up and he's like, I'm an insurance man, I'm your new coach. And they're like, you're no fun, you won't drink pints. And at the end, it turns out he's a recovering alcoholic. It's okay. Directed by Paul Mercier. It's fun. There's a bunch of guys in it that we would all know. Then there is an absolutely extraordinarily shit John Bourne movie called The Tiger's Tail that I watched last week. This is a film where Brendan Gleeson plays a property developer. It's from the year, it came out 2006, and it's the most 2006 Irish movie ever made. He's a property developer. He's been given Irish Businessman of the Year. And then he starts to see his double walking around Dublin. And he has a boat parked outside the convention centre down on the quays. And his office is in like the big buildings.
I'm not going to lie, like the way you're describing this to me, the potential
my
sounds
God.
incredible.
I walked in
This sounds
halfway.
incredible.
So shit. It's
Yeah.
like, again, speaking of Dostoevsky, the double stuff in this is dreadful. So he sees his double stealing his boat and kissing his wife and stuff. And then he gets driven up to the middle of the hills and like left in a puddle of mud. His double steals his house and steals his wife and steals his job. And then it turns out the double has like an English accent and is pretending to be Irish. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. This is so bad. There's a scene where he goes to a homeless shelter and is sleeping beside Ned Dennehy, his old friend from school, who's now has drug and alcoholism issues.
I mean, the fact myself and Shane have never heard of this, I think really speaks of it. Have you heard of it, Shane?
No, but I was very intrigued when you described it to me when I walked in and you watched it. And I was like, oh,
bad.
and then
Sorry,
you were like,
the
this
most
is worst
interesting
thing I've
element
ever
of it
seen.
is that his wife is played by Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City doing an Irish accent. His son is played by Brian Gleeson, who discovers the work of Karl Marx and starts saying, "Dad, you're an awful capitalist. I've been reading Marx." And then he does this like kids version of Marx to his dad of like, "We need to redistribute your wealth, Dad." It's such a shit film. You have to see it to believe it. It's really quite
I think that probably is a reflection of some kids these days.
quite awful. Yeah, maybe. In Bruges is the first McDonagh collaboration on screen.
That's his first one on screen.
What's he up to in that? Just
Himself
hanging out
and
with
Colin Farrell are a hitman gang, and
Right.
Colin Farrell has accidentally shot a child. So they have to go to Bruges and hang out and wait for a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's fun user Brendan Gleeson.
Colin Farrell.
Very good synopsis, actually. Very good.
There you go.
Yeah, I like this more than you.
Yeah,
I
think
would
it's
be.
fine.
I would be fond of it.
It's
Yeah, I'd
fine.
be
The
fond
guard
of
is
it.
better.
I'd say they're on par.
I was like, you know what? I'll have to rewatch it. It'd be close.
I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since like
It
we were
would
in
be.
GTI.
It would be close. I mean, you could definitely say. So, In Bruges came out before The Guard.
Yes,
right?
3
it
years
did.
before.
3 years before 2008.
Yeah.
You can definitely say that. Like, I suppose in terms of themes and shared themes.
In Bruges is more aggressive doing the Tarantino thing. Like, I mean, In Bruges looks like a Guy Ritchie movie the way the poster is designed, but then you have like these great Irish actors and.
But again, I think Colin Farrell has a great sensitivity around something like the death of the child that
Yeah,
like
well,
elevates
Colin
this
Farrell-
I
above.
think it's also a film that, as well, I think it pretty much like bookends probably the legacy for like Irish gangster era
Yes.
films as well, particularly because there's so many of those kind of films, particularly with Dublin themes. go the
Perrier's
whole way
Bounty
of
comes
I
90s.
was
out a
about to
year
say, I
after.
wanted to bring up the point
Perrier's
of
Bounty
just
sucks, and it's
Irish-
Killian and Brendan, and it's dreadful.
Yeah, I want to bring up the point about Irish films just being obsessed with gangster movies.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's incredible.
Because every single man in Ireland who wants to write a screenplay is the same type of guy. That's the problem. There's,
No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm
You're
joking.
not though. I mean, people over 40, right? Like every man in Ireland who was writing a screenplay from the 90s through to the 2010s,
Yeah.
were just these extra vision wankers.
Yeah.
And look, if any of them are listening to the show, we love you and we hear you and we respect
Yeah.
you. But extra vision wankers.
Well, you need to hear this. You know,
Guys
that's-
who, and I know them because a lot of them were friends with my parents growing up. Guys who were just obsessed with Tarantino
Yeah.
and gangster movies and wanted to make their little gangster movies, and they think guns are really cool. Honestly, there were guys like this who were teaching us film in secondary school and making films with us. You know,
Yeah.
this type of guy, and like this is a plague in Ireland. Are guys like this, and only now are we seeing screenwriters in this country who have interests that extend beyond.
Yeah,
that.
I think particularly in the overlap between the depictions of like gangster and like kind of stuff, particularly through the 90s and
Yeah.
2000s. I particularly because when you think of the legacy, like the commitments and stuff, you can
Yeah.
clearly see a lot of the overlap between like themes of poverty and like that familiarity with it, so to
Yes,
speak.
yes.
But like we discovered money in the past 30 years
Yeah,
since as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So that's why I feel like In Bruges sort of like ends that era for myself in my own mind of like if I hear of an Irish gangster film that's come out after the era
Yeah.
of In Bruges, I'm a bit like
Yeah.
I'll be very very averse to watching it. Whilst anything before that
Yeah.
I would give, even if it is quite janky and you know
Yeah.
But even stuff like
Well,
we were talking about a minute ago, Cowboys and Angels.
Yes.
Which is kind of a
There's crime in that. There's drug stuff.
there is, but it's initially a kind of a housemate.
Yes.
College
job story.
college housemate story.
Yeah.
But there's the second act just turns into a drug dealing
I know,
heist
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's kind of
You also, the other thing to be mentioned is the whole kin love hate
Yeah.
world, which is TV made for Sunday World readers.
yeah. I guess it
Guess
kind
it's
of
a crime,
love hate
crimeworld.com.
was post in Bruges then.
Yes, it was.
but love hate was really but love hate kind of was like very much engaged with like
It was trying to be like The Wire, and it was
Yeah.
trying to be like Sopranos. And
yeah, it was in that vein, and you know, I mean, I haven't properly watched it, but I mean, I can only hear people that sing its praises, and
it's
particularly
a
for
silly-
all the actors and cast that have come
Sure,
out of it as well.
yeah.
Like it's been an immense piece of work.
Yeah.
So I mean, like but it's kind of more in the vein of feature film, so to speak, because like I don't know what the budget is or the likes that they're working at with Love Hate, but
lot
I'd say
lower
it was
than it would be now.
little to none.
Yeah, Kin
you
had a
know?
much bigger budget, and obviously had
Exactly,
a big
but the
international
likes
stars.
of Kin is just them trying to imitate like Gangs of London
Yeah.
with the sort of Peaky Blinders aesthetic,
Exactly,
which is
yeah.
ironically sort of mirroring the way in which crime has moved towards a more middle class
yeah,
sentiment.
The budgets
To be
have gotten
appealing,
bigger, yeah.
But for the sympathy card, that's where you can't really. That's where they sort of throw in Jerry the junkie kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think
Um,
it nearly seems like sometimes that once you start upping the budget these things and they start looking more of American or English quality, they become even less interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you're competing with the American and the English stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah. You're better off just being like willfully kind of
The
cheap
kind of
and
the underdog,
Irishy.
scrappy.
Yeah.
TV with
And The
a bit
Guard
of-
does a good job of maintaining that vibe while having Don Cheadle in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Post
Very
Harry
much so.
Potter, Brendan is obviously getting offers for all sorts of shitty fucking sporting roles. He's in Safe House, The Raven, Smurfs 2. He's in Edge of Tomorrow as, I don't know,
He's a general.
He's sitting behind a desk. Same shit he's doing.
Yeah, Tom
in-
Cruise comes in and tries
Yeah.
to convince him. That,
Green
like,
Zone.
yeah.
He's in The Heart of the Sea, the forgotten Cillian Murphy, Chris Hemsworth, Moby Dick movie that no one has seen. Trespass Against Us, we've said before we would love to do on the show, but no one would ever listen to that episode. It's him and Fassbender play a traveler, father and son. It's an interesting film. I really like it, but no one has seen it.
Again,
And then,
was not
he
aware.
reunites with Justin, or he does the Justin Kurzel movie, Assassin's Creed. He does Affleck's Live by Night. Paddington 2 is his next, like, iconic part.
Oh yeah.
Knuckles McGinty, the prison chef.
Phenomenal.
He is phenomenal in this.
Phenomenal.
I mean, Paddington 2 boasts maybe Hugh Grant and Brendan Gleeson's
Yeah.
most beloved performance.
Maybe
of
the
last
best film
10
ever
years.
made. Strong case for it.
I think that film is overrated, but excellent.
Yeah, but you think everything's overrated.
No, I think Paddington 2 is like...
I mean, you did just claim it is the best film ever made, so like
It's a slight exaggeration, yes. But
Paddington 2 is
I said
like-
maybe. I was off
Maybe.
posing
It's like
it
a
as a
really,
question.
really good homage to the greatest films ever made, like Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It does not supersede those films in quality. It is an homage to those films. It is excellent. He's great in it. He's in the Coens' Ballad of Buster Scruggs. He's in the carriage at the end in the least interesting part of that film. Then he plays Trump in the Comey Rule, which is something I was saying for years he should do because I thought I was like, look, he looks really like him sometimes in certain angles. You may as well do something. So
I almost feel like I haven't seen that film, but I
Yeah.
feel like that was a wasted potential for his trump card.
Yeah.
Like to play it on that
It
film,
was
like
a 2-part
like Jesus, the amount of
miniseries.
stuff that's fucking happened since that guy
I know,
had
yeah.
an issue. Like that film. Like,
It was a miniseries.
well, the premise of it as well is there's something very Obama coded about it as well. Of this sort of like
heroic James Comey.
the heroic.
Yeah, well, he cast Jeff Daniels as Comey,
Yes.
and he's like the height of American in
the
infrastructural-
integrity of the
Yeah, integrity,
institution,
yeah.
Jimmy Newsroom
and all
himself,
that.
Jimmy
like,
Newsroom himself. It's a lot of those two guys just sitting across from each other, giving out to each other. Not great, but it was an event. It was on during COVID. A lot of people watched it. I don't know if there was going to be a Donald Trump, Brendan Gleeson project later down the line that was worth holding out for. If they offered him that,
have
and they're
to
like,
see.
big
He
budget-
could have popped up in the Social Network too.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe because like that's yeah.
Sebastian Stan's just got a kind of he can just come back and play Trump now at every age as he
Yeah.
gets older. He's in the Coen Macbeth as Duncan. Banshees that same year he gets his Oscar nomination. I don't have any strong feelings in his performance in Banshees. I think he's absolutely fine in it.
Well, I think the performance is really the only thing that's retains the interest in watching it. Really, like,
Him and
particularly
Kerry's
to
very
any
good.
Irish audience.
Yeah,
because,
I don't like Colin in it that much. I really don't like Barry in it. I think Kerry's very good, and I think Brendan Gleeson is grand.
Yes, I think I agreed.
I like all the supporting guys in that film. I think that Pat Short, Gary Lydon, all those guys are doing great work and were really appreciated at the time. And then he's in Joker, Folie à Deux, as the prison guard who tortures the Joker. And that didn't... I think everyone's forgotten he was in it, thankfully, luckily for him. And
Is there a
he's in it-
sense that was cut down a little bit?
I don't know what happened there.
No.
Who knows? But you know what? If they offered me a role in Joker Folie à Deux, I would have taken it as well.
They probably
It
had a
got
pretty
made.
unlimited
It
budget
got
for that.
made.
Like,
Yeah, he's got this new movie called H is for Hawk that's in cinemas right now where he plays Claire Foy's father. I haven't seen it. And he's going to be apparently in the new Cole movie that the Train Dreams director is making with Cillian Murphy, Blood Runs Cole. And it's about miners and unions and stuff. And Brendan's apparently going to be in that, which would be a really good role for him.
Well, something's like derailing from the feature film, but like I only realized he's in a very big series, like a Netflix series in the US. Like he's on 3 seasons of this
Mr.
Mr.
Mercedes.
Yeah, or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
it was like Showtime or USA or something.
Yeah, which is kind of
serial
funny.
killer Stephen King potentially thing. With who's the man on that? Joshua the man. Who's the good guy on that?
Oh, I don't know.
Joshua
Yeah.
Jackson or it's some really uninteresting TV leading man.
Okay.
I wonder if he was
Harry
approached at all
Treadaway.
to be in Chernobyl.
Yeah, he does have good Chernobyl vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's a little bit of a Stellan Skarsgård type.
But like you've got Emily Watson in there and Jesse Buckley knocking around. A lot of Irish actors in that.
You could do a great sentimental value style Irish film with him.
He
as
also then looks very. He does have a similar look
him as
to
the father to a Jesse or a Saoirse
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
He does look
that's-
very similar
yeah.
to the main actor in Chernobyl as well.
Jared Harris.
Jared Harris.
Jared Harris. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe they
yeah. I
want.
mean, in many ways, he has inherited the mantle of Richard Harris in terms of the types of Irish guys that he
A
plays.
very impressive filmography, though.
Yeah,
to
it's
say
very
the
good.
least.
Very good.
impressive.
A few of the other heads who were in the guard worth shouting out. You got Liam Cunningham in there, a friend of the show. kind of. He's very good. He plays Francis Shee Skeffington.
You know what? He was. I underestimated how good Liam actually was. in
Liam
that.
Cunningham
He
does not
really
show up.
gives it
He doesn't
sauce.
show up in films that often. Like
Yeah.
it's actually a very nice treat. Fionnuala Flanagan, very good as the mother. Micheál O'Glane is fantastic as little Eugene, and he comes back in Calvary and plays basically the same role, but he's excellent in both. Wilmot, we love David Wilmot so much.
We do.
I told David Wilmot how much I love him, and he went, "Thank you," one time. So
He
there
also
you go.
popped up in Industry this week.
Yeah. And he's in Hamnet. He's getting loads of work. He's the best. As
He
the
he grew a beard and became like incredibly employable.
Yes, he's kind of looking the way Brendan Gleeson looked 20 years
He
ago.
does,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
As the two lovely ladies in the G Hotel, we have Sarah Green and Dominique McGilligan, who are obviously both big stars now. Dominique is in The Boys. And then as the younger guard who gets killed, you got Rory Keenan. And Pat Short has his fantastic one scene as the IRA gun runner who meets up with Brendan in the Galway Airport?
Invern Airport.
Invern Airport,
Air
Park. And it's a very, very funny
That was a good scene.
Yeah.
Do you have any other favourite lines in this film we haven't mentioned?
Not really. There's a few good lines.
I like something. One of the Sarah Green says something about having small breasts, and Brendan says, "Good, because I have a very small penis."
Sure.
There's a few other ones I really like. I can't remember them.
Killing Little Protestants.
I don't know. It's
Killing
good.
Little Protestants. Yeah, that's a great.
It got
that kind of has lasted.
Brendan Gleeson got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy.
No way.
Isn't that amazing?
Fantastic.
He lost to Jean Dujardin in The Artist.
Oh wow.
The other who would win the Oscar?
Was everyone? Yeah.
So at least, competition. Okay, the other nominees. Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 50-50, Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love, and Owen Wilson in Midnight in Paris.
Oh wow.
That's a really fun five.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
I'm
I
glad that
used
got
to
like
make real
actual
movies.
international recognition.
What?
That's great.
Yeah, it did. It got the BAFTA nomination then for Best Original Screenplay.
Nice.
And what did it lose that to? It lost to The Artist. Fuck off.
Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
off.
The Artist. Wow. I really forgot that existed.
And Bridesmaids, The Iron Lady is a dreadful film. The Bridesmaids and Midnight in Paris are both nominated there as well. Sorry, Bridesmaids 100% should have won that award. That is an incredible screenplay. Fuck The Artist.
I was about to say. I was like, but even then, the screenplay of The Guard is
It's very good.
It's good.
It's good, but
grand.
it's good. But I think Bridesmaids is like next level. Great screenplay. It was nominated for the Casting Society of America Award for Gina J for achievement in casting for a studio or independent comedy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Great casting.
So I suppose, what do we think about what's the real legacy of the film we're dealing with here? Like, is the legacy does it encompass just this like McDonagh era, or
I think it's
do we think a film like The Guard would be made again?
it would be made, but I don't think it would be a success. I think
Yeah.
it would be a successful TV show now. I think that now I say this at a time where, for example, Hamnet is absolutely ripping up the Irish box office right now. People are going to see an Irish movie with Irish actors. Sorry, not an Irish movie, but a movie with Irish actors that they are that
we'll
they've
take
heard-
it.
that they've heard is good, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this epitomizes for me the summer of 2011 as a time in the late stage of the monoculture where you could get everyone to be interested in the same thing.
Very
And
good
Bridesmaids also encapsulates that. You've got a kind of run of 3 years there from Avatar to The Guard and Bridesmaids, Ted, the In-Betweeners movies, and then it kind of wraps up around 2014.
It
and then
really was kind of like starting to refine
Yeah.
the cultural voice again,
Yeah.
because it's peak post-recession era.
Yeah.
Everything we're just getting inundated with slop.
I think we can
essentially.
probably draw a parallel between what humor will pass successfully
Yes.
by tying it to what Tommy Tiernan is up to at any given point in time.
Maybe.
Because now he's Mr. Serious talk show interviewer host, whereas back then he was probably making fun of Nigerian taxi drivers.
Tommy
which is
Tiernan in
kind of-
2011 was like, "Have you heard about my Mickey?"
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
Tommy Tiernan goes, "I have something serious to say about
Exactly, and
my
now you
Mickey."
see the
Yeah.
the small things like these being the
Yes.
the-
Now Tommy Tiernan's playing the suicidal
Yeah,
father
exactly.
on Conversations. with
Exactly, yeah. So
Friends. His footage is being used in Saipan in like a really serious montage.
we'll see if Tommy Tiernan shifts back to like hard comedy.
Yes.
We'll probably get the same with.
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus,
McDonald's
they would
films.
have to undergo another financial
maybe.
absolute catastrophe for that.
No, we need the financial boom first.
This wins Best Film at the IFTAs.
Correct.
Director,
Sure.
script, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress. Nominated for Supporting Actor, International Actor, Production Design, and Sound. Don.
But
Cheadle,
is the merit of a film really in its awards, folks?
No, it's
you know,
not.
is that well? If it's not, you're out of.
Well, I
a
mean,
job,
if it's
but
winning box office achievement, then yes.
Yeah,
yes. Also, yeah.
How
yeah.
does Don Cheadle end up in this movie? He's got an executive producer credit. I am interested in how he was approached. Now, it's worth noting that, firstly, Don Cheadle had worked with an Irish filmmaker before because he's in Terry George's movie Hotel Rwanda, which we watched last night. And that's Don Cheadle's only Oscar nomination. And he plays this like heroic guy who basically housed people in his hotel during the genocide. And he had obviously had a relationship with Terry George, but Terry George isn't involved in this film. But also that John Michael McDonagh had written the film Ned Kelly, which was a big hit, a big like Australian historical movie. About
Well, the McDonagh reputation as well, so it would definitely be like
Theatrically, it would be very
yes,
strong,
like
yeah.
hugely the McDonagh plays from like in the US.
Yeah, so Don
were
Cheadle was
huge.
probably. I love Don Cheadle's Wikipedia photo. So Don Cheadle was probably, it's like fisheye.
Everyone needs to look
him
that
on a roller
up.
coaster with a
That's
feather boa.
Does he get to pick that photo?
No, that's like royalty free photo that Wikipedia picks.
Wow,
Very funny.
Everyone needs to look that up. Who's
It's
listening
very
to that?
good.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, Don Cheadle, I like. I wouldn't say that I am excited about Don Cheadle.
Sorry, I just
Sorry.
out there.
Like, I don't think anyone's like, oh my god, Don fucking Cheadle. No
Yeah.
one has ever said the words Don fucking Cheadle.
It's kind of interesting, even just looking at like you have his sort of filmography up, and
yeah,
like
yeah.
the consistency in the poster style
I know,
really
yeah.
says a lot already.
This is the 90s, right? So this is
Yeah.
when he's like Mr. Neo-Noir. So he gets a lot of buzz for being in Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel. And then Boogie Nights obviously uses him extremely well, where he plays Buck. And he has a tragic end in that. Spoiler alert, but he's very, very good. Soderbergh latches onto him, puts him in Out of Sight. And then he ends up, of course, working with Soderbergh on the Oceans movies, in which he does a horrendous British accent.
Cockney, isn't it?
Yeah, and he
Oh
famously...
my god, I forgot about
Don
that.
Cheadle found out that the poster for Ocean's 11 was going to be the top 5 names alphabetically. It was going to be Clooney, Damon, Garcia, Pitt, and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
And he went, well, I want to be included in that list. And they went, but your name will come before Clooney alphabetically, and we're not putting you first. Sorry, buddy. And he was like, then take my name out of the credits entirely. Yeah. And they did. And he did not. He's not on the credits of Ocean's 11. And he got back on the credits for the 12.
Sorry, just going back to a gag we had at the start of the episode around Barack Obama. There is a reference to Barack Obama in The Guard.
Yes, there is.
Where Mr. Sergeant McBride says, I don't think that's appropriate. And Sergeant Jerry Boyle, Brendan Gleeson, replies with, why don't you fuck off to America with your appropriate fucking Barack Obama?
That's very good. He is in the Failsafe live TV play that we talked about on last week's episode.
Yeah.
He's in Swordfish. I don't remember what he does in Swordfish. Don Cheadle plays a lot of characters throughout his career who are like kind of angel-coded guys who kind of hover over the main character's shoulder and give them wise advice. I think that's his vibe. Is
But
like,
it sort of comes from with this sort of grit as well.
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
real like, oh, if he's gonna turn on me, like I am bricking it.
But
you
he's
know?
got this like big wide mouth, and he's got a really good chin, and I feel like he's got a really good like I am telling you something, listen to me kind of manner.
Yeah.
So
You'd
he's-
do a great look away and just go, all right.
Absolutely.
You know, you'd be so satisfied if you got that out of Don Cheadle.
He's rarely cast as sexy. He's more cast as wise. But it's a good place to be. And he's also in The Family Man. He's doing that with Nicolas Cage. He does that in Space Jam: A New Legacy, which he is fantastic in. And that is one of the worst films I've ever seen. He plays a character in that called Algae Rhythm, who is an algorithm who lives inside of the internet.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, hey, LeBron, listen to me. I'm going to tell you the rules of this movie. And he's so fucking good. in that
Prophetic,
movie.
maybe, to the
Yes,
way it's going.
yes,
But,
he's very good. He also does that shtick in Flight where he is like Denzel's like one trustworthy guy who's trying to keep him off drugs. And Flight is so good. Everybody watch Flight. We're gonna roll it. Early 2000s also Traffic, big dramatic role for him. Crash. He's involved in Crash as a producer.
yeah.
Crash is obviously like a famous stinker. I have some time for Crash. I think it's kind of an enjoyable, silly, crazy movie. He's not a memorable element of that for me, but he was definitely like a selling point when it was coming out. Hotel Rwanda, of course. And then he's in the Adam Sandler movie Reign Over Me, which Shane and I have done an entire podcast on.
have.
And we will link that in the show notes, in which he befriends a very sad Adam Sandler. He's a dentist.
Yeah.
And he befriends Adam Sandler, and then he finds out that Adam Sandler, spoiler alert, his whole family has died in 9/11.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a 9/11 grief movie. It's
What's Adam Sandler
This
sticking
does
that
feel
again?
on brand for Cheadle, though.
Adam Sandler Sandler's like obsessed with the Who. He has
Is
loads
that
of-
it? He stays in his room and listens to the
I think
Who
he has
or
loads of life insurance money, and he stays in his room and listens to the Who all the time.
Something, yeah.
And Cheadle is just like, man, you got to leave the house, and it's just like, okay, this
It's a bizarre film to describe someone,
It's an
but then
insane film.
it doesn't kind of live up to
Yeah.
it.
It's very 2000s.
Yeah, he's the
If anything.
nice businessman in Hotel for Dogs, and then Terrence Howard decides to be a prick about the Iron Man money, and Don Cheadle gets the most profitable role of all time, Colonel James Rhodes in the Marvel movies, which he has played for over a decade. He is he's in loads of them. He's in the Civil War. He's in the Avengers.
Is that a
movies.
direct character replacement,
That
or
is
is it just a
The
new
exact same
character?
No, same character.
Exact same character.
Terrence Howard wanted more money than Downey, and they said fuck off. And Cheadle was put a big improvement.
It's a big bit of a vibe change
It's
there.
a big
going
vibe
from,
change.
Howard to-
Oh, Cheadle's much better, and Cheadle's very good as Downey's counterpart. He does a Miles Davis biopic that he directs, which I've never seen, called Miles Ahead. Marvel stuff honestly takes up a worrying amount of his time, and he also does these crappy TV shows on Showtime. What's the really famous one that I've never watched? House of Lies ran for like 5 seasons, and then he was in one called Black Monday. So he's kind of wasting time on television and stuff that I've never seen. He's in the Baumbach movie White Noise, which he's pretty good in. And then now he's about to be in Boots Riley's I Love Boosters with the weird makeup, and we didn't even recognize him in the trailer.
Yeah, sure.
And supposedly they're making a War Machine movie called Armor Wars, and they're making Ocean's 14 that he's going to be back in, which is apparently going to film later this year. So
Oh, it could be good. It could be. It'd be entertainment.
there's no Soderbergh involved, but sure, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
I think
maybe,
Edward
maybe.
Berger is directing that. We'll see. So there you go. Cheadle in The Guard. The Irish or British poster very much has Brendan Gleeson's name first, but I believe the American poster, there's one version of the American poster where Don Cheadle's name is before Brendan Gleeson, which is funny, but like, I don't know how he
Did they
swung
do the
that.
Saipan trick of like if they had posted in America, they
He's
had
facing forward.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. Shane, do you have the box office when this film was released?
whipping it up right now. Are we going straight into this game?
Barry, are you familiar with this game?
I am not familiar.
Shane's gonna quiz us on the other movies that were in the box office top 10 the weekend The Guard was released in 2011.
Yeah, and this is
interesting.
the
US.
American box office.
American
yeah,
box
so it's not like the Irish
America,
box office.
okay. So I have to. So it's essentially guessing which films.
He's gonna give us clues.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll see.
so
The
We go-
Guard Irish box office is worth noting, though, because it made so much money. The Guard broke records. The Guard made 4.13 million euro, and it made more money than The King's Speech, The Hangover 2, Transformers 3, Pirates 4. And it had a 200 screen release in the US. Yeah, cool.
cool indeed.
All right.
A big hit for Screen Ireland.
First up, the number one film of this weekend.
Give me the dates, please.
I will give you the dates. This is July 29, 2011.
Okay.
Wow.
I had a brief moment of shock here seeing the title of this movie. Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Because we discussed something with a similar name a couple of minutes ago. But
Oh, right,
this is a
okay.
big potential boy party. I think I think this is on the boy party list.
Oh, interesting.
2 big stars.
Okay.
Is
Is it comedy?
Yeah, it's an action comedy.
July 2011.
Okay, further down the cast we have Paul Dano, Sam Rockwell, Olivia Wilde.
This is Night and Day.
No,
No. Oh, sorry.
incorrect.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, one of the words right there. Cowboys, and Aliens.
and Aliens.
This is a Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford,
Yes.
John Favreau movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
First Contact, Last Stand.
Yeah, we were going to do it on the show, and then we decided we
we did.
short.
Yeah. And I remember, I think I did see it in the cinema, and
Yeah.
I guess 13-year-old me was entertained at the time.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't like Cowboys or Aliens. So.
It is what it is, definitely. So
Cowboys and Aliens.
Does it improve when you put the two of them together?
I don't think so. I think it
You
gets
give it 2
worse.
stars anyway.
2-star film, yeah.
Here's
Harrison
another.
Ford is in that. God
Yeah.
almighty.
Here's another 2-star film.
Okay.
And does this feature? I was going to say, does this feature Brendan Gleeson? I do not think so.
Okay.
This is an animated film.
This is the Smurfs.
This is the Smurfs.
Yeah, he's in the second one.
The
Second
Smurfs
one.
is 2011.
Yeah.
Wow, that is okay.
This is the Neil Patrick Harris.
Hank Azaria, Neil
the
Patrick
Smurfs.
Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them are just voicing Smurfs.
July
Katie,
summer
Katy
hit.
Perry.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin is, I think, Papa
Yeah, I
Smurf.
think so.
He looks like Papa Smurf.
Sure.
Splash a bit of blue on those rosy cheeks.
Not seeing that name in there, but
Okay, maybe not.
Pop Smurf is Jonathan Winters.
Oh, he died. I think.
All right, we gotta. The next two, the first two there were new this week. The next two have colons in them and are big money franchises.
Captain America: The First Avenger.
Correct.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Correct.
There you go.
Next up, more punctuation. 3 words, 2 commas.
3 words, 2 commas.
Oh.
Is this a type of love?
Yeah.
Is it crazy? Is it stupid?
It's all those things.
It's all of the above.
It's all of the above. I think we're in kind of your range of like,
Oh, I know.
Well, this was your cinematic awakening.
This was
era,
me.
really,
I
wasn't it?
was listening to Kermode and Mayo podcast every week. They were doing the box office top 10. So, yeah, very familiar with this era.
Next up, we got a duo of fun comedies.
Okay, so is Bridesmaids probably gone by now?
The first one is I guess you could describe it
Mr.
as
Popper's
a
Penguins?
crazy, stupid love type of thing.
Oh.
type of thing.
This could be considered a boy party.
Okay.
Okay, we got
Is it Friends with Benefits?
It's Friends with Benefits, yes.
Oh.
Sorry, Barry, you're
I know. I mean, I was never expecting Macy to pick up on any of these either. These are not the
If
film.
I figure out the next one, I'll try and.
I'm
help
trying
you
to-
Don't
out.
even. You'll embarrass me more.
So what's the next comedy?
the next comedy is okay. We've got a review from you here, Lucy. Let's see
Okay,
what you
great.
said. You gave it 2 stars.
All right.
You said so much wasted potential in this. Falls apart in the 3rd act.
These are such generic comments.
Everyone else is letting them down so bad.
Yeah, come on, be original, Lucian. For God's sake.
Fuck's sake. Is Jason Bateman in this?
This has 6 big names.
Horrible Bosses.
Horrible bosses.
Oh yeah, okay. I do know these films to be fair. Yeah,
I
do
knew
know
well
these
Jason
films.
Bateman was in that.
I think I saw this in the cinema
We
in County
probably
Kerry.
saw. No, I wouldn't have known you at that point then. But
How could you have seen that in the cinema when
I
you were
went
14?
on a football night away.
That's a 15 rated film.
I know.
You
But
went to a
we
15
were a
film when
bunch
you were
of
14?
we were a bunch of 25,
Wow.
13-year-old boys, and we were like, we go see Horrible Bosses, and I think we did.
You sure it wasn't the second one?
No,
I mean,
First
in
one.
that
'Cause
era,
I was-
in
it
that
was a-
era in the Omniplex IMC, they did not give.
It was
flying.
specifically an under 13 tournament.
In Kerry, they encourage you to
Oh.
go see films for
Yeah,
adults.
so I remember it was 2011. 2011 lines up when I would have been 13 years old.
In Kerry, they show Horrible Bosses in schools to teach
Jesus,
kids
yeah.
about
In
sex.
retrospect as well, that film as well. Like, there's some really like
That's a horrible film. Yeah.
horror. Like,
Yeah, but
there's
we
it's kind of
were-
an era of comedy that sort
Yeah.
of kind of goes into that.
Mean spirited, like.
Well, not even just the mean spirited, but particularly dealing with things of
Sexual
like,
harassment from a woman.
and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
rape and that kind of, and the
No, you're right.
comedy of played for laughs
Yes.
of that, which is
No,
from
it's
that era
bad
has
news,
aged very
yeah.
poorly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids is such a refreshing, not that, you know. Bridesmaids is so
I-
good. Ugh.
I'm having doubts that we didn't see it, but I think we did.
Okay.
I think there was something else we were thinking of and we didn't go to. We went
There's a Horrible Bosses too.
Yeah. No, that's 3 years later, though.
No, this was very specifically this trip when I was 13 years old in Kerry.
All right. I believe you. You're not a liar.
All right, we got another big franchise with a colon in it.
Wait, so to clarify, these are all films that did better than The Guard.
Kind of.
Okay.
Sorry, this is like the American. Okay, I'll even.
Oh, it's the American box office, of course.
yeah, it's the American box office.
Yeah.
But these over the the
No,
on this-
the weekend.
this weekend.
This
Yeah.
weekend.
all
these
these
were all
films
out.
were in the cinema.
Correct.
Yeah.
In this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy.
That's the thing
okay.
about the year like 2011 is that we remember all the films that were out in 2011.
It's the summer of 2011
Yeah.
as well. So
was-
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
What else were we doing? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't
Anything
even
else?
know if the Guard is on this list, to be honest.
Oh, it was in 200 screens, so it's probably way down.
Yeah. That's
Anything
sweet
else?
F-O.
Yeah, big franchise with a colon.
Big franchise.
Transformers.
Transformers. Yeah.
Got it.
Which one? Oh, is this the one in Egypt where they have the big,
No, after
No.
that. One
Come on,
later.
Barra.
Oh, the third one.
Yeah. Correct.
Not Age of Extinction. What's it called?
Come on, it's like a
I
great
know.
album title, but they
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark of the
Yeah.
Moon.
Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon.
changed
yeah.
Dark of the Moon.
Not
Oh,
even
sorry,
the-
it is actually Dark of the Moon.
Yeah.
because that's what's written here, and I was like, is that a typo?
No, they weren't allowed to
Dark
call
of
it
the
Dark
Moon.
Side of the Moon. They had to change
okay.
it to Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon. What a-
Transformers Dark of the Moon is like borderline 4-star film. I think it's excellent.
Actually, you know what? I think I vaguely recall it being far more entertaining.
It's really good.
than it-
Turturro,
But there is even-
Malkovich, Francis McDormand are
You
all
could
in
say
it.
that maybe
It's like a fucking Coen Brothers
like
movie.
Michael Bay is possibly the most authentic American auteur I've had in a long time as well. Like his,
He's up there, yeah.
He's up there.
I
I
have a
mean,
lot of time for
I
Michael
want to
Bay.
know what the next time I hear there's a Michael Bay film coming out that
I know, but they're all fucking Transformers these days. That's
I
the
know,
problem.
he had ambulance.
He had Ambu
yeah, he did,
LAX.
yeah.
MULA.
I know,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. We need
I know,
the,
look, I'm a man who watched Six Underground,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen the John Krasinski, Hillary Clinton propaganda movie, 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Jeez.
oh,
Anyway, sorry, anti-Hillary Clinton propaganda, I should say.
Okay.
Any more?
I'll just the rounding out the top 10, 9 and 10 are Zookeeper and Cars 2.
Cars 2.
Bad.
Wow,
Not good. Not good
Yeah.
films.
Not good
Sorry, I
films.
did actually find the Guard on this page. It opened at number 40.
Yeah.
Made,
Small release.
made $76,000.
probably Don Cheadle's lowest grossing film of the last
On
25
4
years.
screens, on 4 theaters apparently.
Oh, right, not bad.
So-
Fair.
Wait, 70,000 on 4 theaters.
Yeah, it's pretty
Ooh,
good.
that's not bad.
Yeah. What was I going to say there? If they made a sequel to Zookeeper, they could have called it Two Keeper.
Yeah,
I
I had $19,000 a theater.
That's
Pretty
that
good.
done. We checked, folks. This film has never been named by a celebrity as part of their Letterboxd top 4, so we're not going to do that guessing game. And anything else we need to do, housekeeping wise? I don't think so.
Not particularly.
All right, Barra, what are you up to? What do you want to promote?
Yes.
Where can people find your work?
And not really anywhere. I've made a few short films. They're
They're very
going
good.
about. Follow me on Instagram, I guess.
Okay.
BARRA_con. I'll probably be putting some bits up there.
Excellent.
But other than that, I've got a few bits in the work. Hopefully, maybe trying to get a first feature up and running in the coming
Amazing.
years that I'm sure we can review
We
extensively.
will do an episode of it.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Tear to pieces, all the usual shenanigans.
Yeah, as long as it's got 2 big Hollywood stars.
Yes, that's your challenge.
okay.
That's your challenge. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, actually, then okay, we'll be a
Oops,
while then.
Never mind.
If you get 2 mid-level Irish stars, we'll accept it. If you
feel-
if you get anyone in the kind of David Wilmot, Aina Hardwick pool, we'll accept
Oh,
it.
damn, Aina Hardwick's up there now.
Yeah,
Really,
I know.
the
Yeah,
national
we
figure.
gotta drop that a little bit.
Yeah, he's
no
got-
offense, Bar, but like
Yeah,
you'll
we'll
get them.
We'll
you'll
lower
get-
the bar a little
You'll
bit.
get them eventually.
Thank you.
You'll get them eventually.
Well, not too much other around report. Just kind of happy to be here, and I'll be working on a few projects now in the coming year
Wonderful.
too. Be going to Berlin in 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to catch any films though. Actually, I'm not really sure if there's.
I haven't really seen the program.
I know there's the Irish made film,
Yeah.
Bill Evans film coming out as well. Actually.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
will
on in
be-
Dublin as well. I'm
I'm gonna
excited
try
for
catch
that.
that.
That sounds
Yeah.
great. I can't think of anything else that's going to be on at Berlin that I'm looking forward to. I can't remember. Anyway, I'll look it up. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Shane. Thank you so much for listening. Everybody, be nice to your local guard, especially the ones who say horrible, offensive things. And everybody, this episode was brought to you, of course, by G Hotel. Bye bye.